It's time to make homemade spaghetti sauce. Well, homemade, I'm using canned tomatoes. I've actually made it with tomatoes, but it's very labor intensive, so no. I'm heating up about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And to that I'm going to add 1 entire onion, chopped up, about 5 or 6 bellas sliced, 6 cloves of garlic minced up, and 2 carrots that I've peeled and chopped up pretty finely. I love carrots in my tomato sauce. I think it's absolutely delicious, and I think you absolutely must have mushrooms. All right, this is cooked down for 3 or 4 minutes, and I'm going to add in some tomato paste. I love this. It's double concentrated tomato paste, and you don't have to open up the entire little can if you don't need it all. So I'm putting about 2 tablespoons in here, and then I'm going to stir it really well, coat everything, and then cook it down, because you want your tomato paste to actually almost have a burnt-y kind of taste and texture. You want to have to deglaze your pan, let's put it that way. So this gets stirred in really well, and then cooks for about 2 or 3 minutes. Yum. It's cooked down. As you can see, the bottom of the pan's kind of darker. That's exactly what you want. We're going to add in about a half a cup of red wine. You can use beef broth. I just like the flavor, kind of depth that red wine adds to tomato sauce. And you're going to scrape up the bottom, all the little bits that adhered to the bottom of the pan. And cook that for about 1 minute. You want to cook the wine down, but it's going to get cooked down pretty well in the sauce. Okay, to that I'm going to add crushed, petite diced tomatoes. I'm going to add 2½ cans, because you want enough to make a full, which is I'm going to make today, a lasagna. But you also, anything that's extra, you can just put into, which is what I'm adding here, into a Ziploc, label it, and you can save it for next time in case you need 2½ cans, which is an odd thing to add. But as I've worked with it over the years, this is what works. I'm going to add about a teaspoon, just a little bit, of crushed red pepper. Okay, maybe it's a little bit more than a teaspoon, but it'll be tasty. A teaspoon of Italian seasonings. And I'm going to go ahead and add my ground beef, because you want that to cook into the sauce. You want the flavor in this of the sauce to be really beefy. So I'm going to cook that for a while and kind of cook that meat down into it. It'll actually release a lot of juice, and it'll be thinner than it is now. And then you'll start to cook it down to where you want it to be for sauce. Okay, that's cooked a little bit. You can actually brown your ground meat before, but it's kind of like cooking meatballs in your sauce, how it adds so much meat flavor to your sauce to do it this way. It's so delicious. So I'm pretty much ready to let it simmer for about 1.5 hours to 2 hours. I'm going to add in about a half a cup of water, and I have about 10 basil leaves that I've sliced up pretty small, and that's going to add just a ton of fresh flavor to it. So I'm going to bring it to a boil, and I'm going to put the lid on it, and I'm going to tilt the lid just a little, and I'm going to simmer it for about 1 hour, and then I'm going to check it, and it's going to be on low. And then I'm going to check it after about 1 hour and then see where we're at. But I usually go about 1.5 hours. And it just adds a whole bunch of depth of flavor to it. When it's all done, we'll add a little bit of fresh cracked pepper and a little bit of salt. I don't like to add too much until the end, because the tomatoes are very salty and you don't know what it's going to need.